I'm pretty certain I've done at least 4 iterations of trellises on our channel and highlighted each and every one of them. We get comments pretty much every year on the original one, which we've learned a lot on because we used 4x4 posts. And since then we've started using telephone poles and or corner posts from fencing, not your little 3-4 inch post at all. And as a whole, that change has made a big difference. You won't have to worry about that again. There are a couple of things that we've also modified, and let's talk about that. Dean Family Acres. Ooh, bright, bright, bright. What are we into today? All right guys, so we got the post up. We'll get those concreted in the ground maybe tomorrow. We'll see what time is looking like, but we've had these vines in now for quite some time. I knew I needed to get these in. I was kind of thinking about, all right, which post am I going to use, and I forgot a bit about these posts that were just a little bit shorter. It's kind of in between what I really wanted, but it'll work. And they're both in pretty good shape. I was kind of hoping to keep my pattern of, you know, the creosote logs here and kind of the newer green style on this bottom end here. But overall, I don't think it'll make a difference. Let me kind of show you from this angle here. That way you can kind of see post here. It's the creosote style, but I think we'll be all right overall. So that'll give us those 3 rows though, 9 vines here, and I've got basically a layout to be able to do 2 more, possibly 3 more if we consolidate them, which honestly that's probably what I'll do here, but we'll see if we get that done or not. I'm saving my space from that new vine that's getting released by UGA. Supposed to be released, but it'll probably be 2026 or 7, maybe late 26 before we actually get it, and I want to put at least 2 vines of that in. So that's my goal moving forward. And then we've got some other kind of experimental vines that we're going to be working with. So until then, that's what we got so far, and hopefully you guys are enjoying. You can see here, I've got our concrete mix here, as well as a level and our shovel, and we're just going to level up our post. I will say that I typically, if you've seen any of my other videos, which I'll kind of link those here as well as down below, of us doing this trellis, this will actually be our 4th version of the trellis. We did our original Muscadines, then we did the Ruby Crisp row, and then we did the row with the late fry. Has stayed but not done really great, but now has a Black Beauty and a Supreme on it. So that's the row kind of right behind where you are. And then this row here are the vines that we planted last year, and I just put them on some bamboo stakes just to kind of get them up and off the ground. And overall, again, this will be our 4th iteration of doing trellises. Works really, really well for us. Basically, get you 2 solid fence posts. You're talking corner post here, about 6-inch or larger. And then you're gonna need some 9-gauge wire. You can order that off of Home Depot. Is traditionally your cheapest place, but I'll link all of this stuff down below, either at places that I know locally or Amazon. If it is Amazon, it's an affiliate link. And then we have our grapples, or gripples that actually pull that wire through and hold it. I'm not going to be doing all that today, but really what I wanted to do is finish getting these posts in the ground, concreted. They need to set up, I would recommend, for at least a couple of days before you start doing anything with wire, that kind of stuff. But for now, let's get these posts in the ground. It's kind of like setting any other post that you might with some concrete. You want to level that up. Typically, what I would recommend is you want to just slightly lean that post back, just a little bit, because when you put that tension on it, it's going to want to make it pull, and be better if it has a little bit of an angle back away from the direction that you're going to pull that tension. So here we go, let's get busy. And then side to side, you want it to be just right. Lovely. All right guys, it's super dark, so we got this last post in, and we're gonna get the tractor out, turn the water off, and we'll hopefully be out here in another couple days. Hey guys, we're out here checking on the post that we put up for our 3rd row on our upper vineyard. You can see the other rows right there behind me, as well as that Martin house that we actually revamped. And honestly, every time Martins start to get popular on YouTube, that video tends to jump, which is kind of crazy. But if you want to see exactly how we did that, the video's linked right up here. Anyway, these posts we put in and got kind of dark on us the other night, so I wanted to just show you exactly how those are doing, and we're going to talk a little bit about what our next steps are for getting these done over the next couple of weeks. All right guys, so that's the first post. It is good and solid. I have not checked this one, but it looks like it's doing pretty good as well. Oh yeah, so we do a semi-dry pour. I don't do completely dry, I do put some water in there, but then top it off and put some water on top of that when we pour for post, and honestly they've worked pretty well as a whole. So here on this 3rd row, if you didn't catch that video, we actually planted 3 different varieties here before we had the post up. And I think I kind of titled that How to Save 6 months to a Year on Planning for Your Muscadines, and not having to wait to have everything in order to be able to do it. You can run the risk of not getting your ducks in a row and having poor growth as well. So sometimes there's a catch-22 there, but let's talk a little bit about what the results were for these 3 vines that we planted, as well as how these posts are doing and what we're going to end up with here. All right, so phase 1 here, and I always get these mixed up, so let me check them. And yes, I know this looks like mulch, and it kind of is, but it's for winter and winter only. Sweet mix. So why do we, let's talk about 2 different things here. Why do we put that grass around there? Number 1, because I had it mowing grass over here. We kind of let it get a little bit tall, and during the winter time, it's good to suppress those roots. You don't want to mulch all the time though, because those roots can grow up into the mulch, and then once you have a hard freeze, it can actually kill your whole vine. We've got sweet mix here. You can see we've had some growth, not exactly the greatest, but we have had some. Next here, we've got a Pam, and for any of y'all who know, Pam is one of our favorite bronze varieties. It is a female, so you do run into that, making sure you've got correct pollination around, but it's grown okay. It's survived. I wouldn't say that it's done the greatest, but if you'll notice, there's no irrigation here in between the poles. And honestly, I think that's been our number one nemesis, is trying to delay irrigation. And if you try and delay that irrigation, then you're really going to delay the growth. I did come out here with a hose some, but not nearly as much as I should, especially in the summertime when it was just cooking. Number 3 was right here. And you can see there's nothing. It died. And let's talk a little bit about what that was and what happened. So this one here was a fry seedless that we actually air layered from a friend of ours. And I only had it air layered in a pot for about less than a year, and I honestly think I just didn't get the roots strong enough to be able to transplant it out here with no irrigation. I think it just dried up and died because the roots got dried out. And again, that's on me, but that could have been prevented by having irrigation out here. But honestly, it's okay, because fry seedless isn't a great producer, and the more and more things that kind of get released, or they're talking about releasing, I want to make sure I have room for that, as well as some experimental varieties that I have. I've got some that I'm working on that I'm growing from seed, and I want to see exactly how those produce. When you talk about that though, I would say that oftentimes folks ask about, oh, I got these seeds off Amazon. Do not do that. You're wasting your time and money. Honestly, I might be wasting my time growing these varieties from seed, but you know what? UGA and Isons and others, they do a breeding program, and they grow theirs from seed. And then once they find a variety that produces well, is vigorous enough, etc., then they start doing air layers and they release it to the public. So there's a lot of other groups that are doing this, but they're doing like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of varieties. So think about it. Please don't go buy seeds off Amazon. That is not what you need to do. But we've gotten some seeds from a couple of different people that we know and other resources that's got some pretty cool genetics. So we're going to be working on that and trying to incorporate a couple kind of unique or trial varieties here, and we'll be updating that as well. And in all honesty, I'm not going to give them the 16 to 20 feet that is recommended. I'm going to give them probably 8 to 10, and I'm going to give them that so that I can kind of judge and have more in a particular area, versus them just being taking forever to grow out or something like that. Again, doesn't necessarily have to take forever, but it's something to certainly think about. So as a whole, we're going to be probably putting, at least depending on what comes through with some of our resources here, we're probably going to be putting at least 2 of those experimental varieties here once we get this irrigation and our wire set up. So speaking of the wire, let's talk about that a little bit. I'm pretty certain I've done at least 4 iterations of trellises on our channel and highlighted each and every one of them. We get comments pretty much every year on the original one, which we've learned a lot on because we used 4x4 posts. And since then we've started using telephone poles and or corner posts from fencing, not your little 3-4 inch post at all. And as a whole, that change has made a big difference. You won't have to worry about that again. There are a couple of things that we've also modified, and let's talk about that. We have irrigation on the rows here, the 2 rows here, and that has been a game changer to get that on and have it on a timer so you don't forget about it. You've got it set and it can just run. I would strongly encourage you to do that. The way we did that, we actually got a tensioner from like an electric fence. This is some heavy gauge electric fence wire. This is just tubing. You can order this from Isons or Amazon. I'll try and link a lot of this below. And then I got these wraps actually from Isons. And you wrap this up I will make a comment when you're setting your height here. If you're mowing and you're going to be mowing very carefully, I would not recommend you turn that over to your spouse or someone else. I would make sure you're the one doing it, because that way if you hit a vine, it's your fault. But if you are going to mow, make sure your height from here to here is well above your deck. Like mine has wheels on the front. It's a front mount grasshopper, and the wheels come like right to this. I probably should have put this about another probably 3 or 4 inches taller, because you can see it starts to sag over time. And nothing wrong with that, but it can sag, as you see right here. And you can always, kind of pull it this way or pull it that way to get that sag out, but probably need a few more wraps there. But as a whole, if that mower catches it, it's going to be a pain in the neck. Then you need drip emitters. There's lots of different types. Honestly, most of the ones that we have gotten have been from thrift stores, Goodwill, Marketplace, stuff like that. You need to determine what your gallons per hour that your well and or water lines, if you water them from the city, bless your heart, because you're going to pay out the wazoo if you got Muscadines. But I will say that you need to kind of figure out how much water you want going to those vines every once a week at least, I would say. So that's different for everybody. I would tell you a number, but it depends on your soil type. Another aspect that we have learned is making sure that you use some heavy gauge. This is 9 gauge wire. It does start to give over time. These have been up a couple of years now. And then you want to use these gripples, and you can actually put a vice grip on here, a board here, and it will pull and you can tighten it up. I don't do that during the winter time. I'll wait and do it in the spring. You can see that the way that we have done it and have kind of been told to do it is putting a T-post between each vine. So that way you know, hey, that's where this vine ends. We're going to go to a different variety here. So you want to prune that off, and then that'll be another one, variety or another vine. That's fine, and I think that it's very helpful to have those. I will say that we've heard it mentioned for a number of years, and people have told us, like, listen, you need to put a post next to your vine. It's going to start drooping. We noticed that this year, especially on these Ruby Crisp, as they got loaded up. And I think what we're going to be doing in the future is putting a T-post about a foot away from each one of these vines. I think that's a smart thing to do. It's not required initially, but once your vines start loading up, you're probably going to need that, I would say, as a homeowner. If you're doing a commercial vineyard, you may or may not want to do that, because that really starts to add up. I mean, if you think about Shane from Kinfolk Farms, if he started putting a post at every single vine, goodness, he's talking about 300 and something T-posts, and those things are up to $5 a piece now, or more, depending on how or where you buy them. I can't imagine. But for us, I think now we're at about 15 different varieties, close to 20-ish vines. Kind of depends on what's surviving or what's not, but we'll be kind of replacing some of those this spring. But anyway, we're going to start putting those T-posts a foot from our vines, because it makes sense for when they start loading up. Again, the biggest thing, honestly, is your irrigation, prepping for that, how you're going to organize it, what it's going to be. We've done that and got a water line coming from over here at our fence line. We trenched underground, brought it right here, and it comes in right here where this blue ball valve is. And then we also, this goes to about right here and trenches over to that trellis. So essentially we have kind of a system here that will be able to make it where you can get both of them hooked up. This works. I would just think through it before you commit to it. Honestly, I need to figure out a better way than just some hoses here, and it might honestly be, hey, we're going to connect some PVC and make all of this work on one thing and not need a bunch of hoses. We also had an issue. I bumped this one over here. I bumped this one with, you see it right there, with the lawnmower, and it snapped it off. So as a whole, that certainly makes a difference too. Even though it was right here next to the post, I would encourage you might put a little T-post or something right next to it to protect it if you're going to be mowing grass. Again, that way you can blame yourself. Don't ask a spouse to do that. Third will be how we're going to get water over here and being able to trench that. We're working on that. Honestly, it depends on the time of year. Sometimes up here it's not bad to dig, but a lot of times it is absolutely ridiculous. So we'll figure that out, and whether we want to have separate for each one of these as well as this third one, and then again we're going to put at least one more up here on this end. So depending on how all that works, we'll have to navigate that in the near future. You can see here we left enough space to get the mower through, that kind of thing. Our fencing is right here, and what we're going to do is probably set that next post down here. So I think when I calculated it out before, we essentially could put one maybe right in here and go down, but we'll have to see just that spacing. That oak tree is going to go. We planted those a number of years ago, but it honestly has not grown until I got the fence up. Deer just want to hammer it all the time, and once this gets big enough, it's going to provide shade. Unfortunately, some of this is going to provide shade too, but I can't control that. That's my neighbors. All right, guys, so hopefully that's been enough of an update on how these muscadines are doing, what we've been doing, winter prep, water, all that kind of stuff, and just thinking forward. Appreciate you guys watching, and hopefully you will continue to follow along with us here at Dean Family Acres as we are in Upstate South Carolina, Zone 8A, and you can follow us here, especially if you ring that bell. And you can do that because then you'll see exactly how what we're doing makes sense, and is it actually producing, is it not, like what, maybe if you want to replicate or you want to try a certain variety, etc., you'll be able to kind of determine that. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Appreciate you guys. Have a good one. We'll see you next time.